All right. Hello, healthy women of faith. Alicia here. I'm hopping on impromptu today or semi-impromptu. I didn't put anything up that I was hopping on live. But I'm excited to be here today. I am your biblical health coach and the founder of the Healthy Women of Faith, where you're watching this right now. So I'm super excited. I have a guest with me today. This is a special guest live video. So super excited. If you happen to be watching in the group, say hello in the comments. Let me just make sure we're live in the group also. And I will introduce my guest here in just a moment. And we will get going. But super excited to share. This is Rhonda. All right, we are live. Rhonda is in the group. So if you're watching, say hello. Whoops. There's our there we go. I'm just going to tag everyone. So if they happen to be live. Hey, Angela, I see you're watching. Thanks for watching. All right. So we're going to get right into it. Um, Rhonda was a client of mine. We worked together for about a year. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
roughly.
Cool. So I'm going to let her go ahead and just share a little bit about herself, your story, whatever you want to share. And then we'll get right into a few questions about your experience. Sound good?
Yep. Hey everyone, I'm Rhonda Bradley, and I live in West Virginia. I live in the panhandle of West Virginia. So I am a stone's throw from Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Virginia. So in any given day, I could visit all of those states at one time. And I am a Christian growth coach, and I'm working on getting my business up and running. It's been a work in progress. So that is coming along. Hopefully, will be fully launched this year. And I'm not sure how I met Alicia. Just it ended up just being a Facebook contact, but learned about her program and jumped into her program and worked with her last year and made some good progress.
Yeah, we did. Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Okay, yeah. So if you are someone who is kind of struggling with, centering your health journey around God and his ways, then I think this will be really helpful for you. Rhonda's really grown in that area and also just some of the physical aspects. So my first question for you, Rhonda, is where were you before we met? What was life like back then for you?
So I had just gained a whole bunch of weight. I started, I guess, perimenopause, and had like literally put on like 60, between 60 and 100 pounds in less than a year. And I was struggling, obviously, and nothing that I was doing was working. Um, I was, you know, just trying to count my calories and stuff like that, and nothing was working. So I was kind of in a bad place, not mentally, but physically. I was in a really bad place. I couldn't like if I sat down on the floor, I had a really hard time getting up, and I was struggling with pinched nerve in my back. So even like stepping outside and taking a walk, just trying to take like even a walk to the end of the street was painful, and I couldn't do it. So yeah, kind of in a bad place physically.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that actually. I remember working through your back issues and chiropractor appointments and trying to figure out what's going on. So, which is pretty normal. There's going to always be some sort of life thing that we're trying to work through. So, but if you're listening to this and you feel like in some regards you also are in like a bad place right now, just put bad place in the comments and let me know because you're not alone because Rhonda was there as well. Um, so Rhonda, what changed when you and I began working together?
Well, for one thing, I reached the point where I couldn't ignore the back pain anymore. And so I did go into physical therapy. So the combination of working with you and doing the physical therapy, I was able to take some weight off, and the pinched nerve was alleviated. And so what changed was because I had started taking some weight off and because I did the physical therapy, I was able to, like, I'm much more mobile now and I can go out and take a walk and it, it does, my back doesn't hurt any longer. So I think that was the biggest thing was I was so frustrated with not being able to move very much. And I think that was the biggest change.
Okay. Awesome.
Physically, that was the biggest change.
Yeah, share spiritually what was going on, what kind of changed for you.
So there's the different components of your program that we worked on. It may be changing now, but the spiritual there was the spiritual component and the biblical mindset component. And I think what you and I realized a few weeks or a month or two into the program was that that's really where I needed to put my focus and focus on what God was saying about my body and that my body was created for a purpose. So I'm not sure if I answered the question there.
Yeah, no, you're great.
Okay.
Yeah. You just had mentioned to me that that's part of what had kind of changed too, is the biblical aspect, the spiritual aspect of things. And so I think it's great that you definitely made some improvements and you have made some improvements physically, right? But it was the spiritual aspect that we really focused on. We didn't really super hyper focus on a lot of the physical stuff. Yeah, there were some things for sure that I taught you and you worked on, but it was really that perspective of you changing how you saw yourself, right? That really kept you going. You said you realized you were created for a purpose, right?
Right.
Anything else you would add to that?
I don't think so.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So again, if you're listening to this and that's kind of the place that you're in, maybe you're struggling with body image, because, losing weight or getting healthier is a journey. And so we have to be okay with where we're at. And that means that we have to move towards doing what's healthier for our body, but that might take some time. And so we can truly like understand our created purpose in God's image. And that actually, I think if we put that focus there, is what then helps motivate us, keep us focused on working through some of the struggles, for instance, Rhonda's back issues, so that she could still get to a good place where she is today. So if that's you, you feel like you need to understand that you're created for a purpose, not just to lose weight, all of the things, then put created for a purpose in the comments below. So, Rhonda, what is your life like now? What has really changed for you, either spiritually or physically?
So, like I said, physically, I'm able to, like, I can sit down on the floor and get up with no problem. And literally, it was so bad that when I got down on the floor, like, I didn't have the strength to get myself up off the floor. So I can now without a problem. Like, I don't even have to lean on a table or lean on the bed or anything. Like, if I sit down, I can get up off the floor. And it was huge because I've had times in my life where, like, I was working with a personal trainer and I was in such good shape. And then to find myself in the shape that I was in, it was very discouraging. So to be able to, again, be able to go out and take a walk with my husband and not have to stop every few steps to sit down, it's that I don't have that discouraging. Like, it had become really discouraging to the point where I just was like, I wouldn't even go out to take the walks anymore because I couldn't do them. So that, again, that's the biggest thing that changed, but also the mindset.
Awesome. Cool. Um, I don't remember if if I asked you this before, but like, do you know which out of the biblical mindsets you feel like impacted you the most?
Oh my gosh, I do remember texting you. There was one that was like, remember it was the aha moment, but I don't remember offhand which
Oh,
one
I'm
it
designed to
is.
worship. That's the one it was.
Right,
I'm
right.
designed to worship.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
share about that a little bit.
So it was the aha moment of just I was made to worship. Like, I wasn't made to hate my body or to worry about calories and, worry about like losing weight and being, all tied up with all that. It was our bodies, we were created to worship the Lord, and worship comes from the body. So
Yeah.
it's that.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, it's that higher understanding of not just the physical, but the spiritual aspect of it. And really our body is our tool to worship the Lord. So um that's why I super kind of hyper focus on Ephesians 2:10, because the good works that we do is something that God had planned for us a long time ago, even before we were born. But we were always designed to be his masterpiece, right? His workmanship. So we can do the good things he's called us to do, which is to worship him. That's what we're really designed to do. And we can do that in our jobs, with our families, like everyday life. Like I think sometimes we forget in this world that we live in that bogs us down what we were truly designed to do. And so I think when we understand that, again, that in turn helps us to see our health journey in a whole different light, that it's not just about losing the weight and all the things. And it helps us to turn our inward focus to outward, right?
Mhm.
What's really important. And honestly, like when we do that, it takes the focus off of us, and then we're just able to do the things that we need to do in the Lord's strength, right? Over time.
Yeah, and the devil would like to make us believe that um in the condition that we're in, that we're not worthy to worship the Lord, or that we're not
Exactly.
worthy, or that we're not even worthy to be loved by him. There have been plenty of times where like I didn't want to go to church because my jeans were too tight and I was uncomfortable, you know,
Wow.
and that's
Yeah.
ridiculous because I'm missing out on going and worshiping the Lord
Right.
because my jeans are uncomfortable.
Right. But that's a real thing, you know? That's a real fear or, insecurity, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks for sharing that. So, last question, Rhonda, what advice would you give someone who is in the spot that you were in a little over a year ago?
I mean, my advice would be if you are looking for a health coach, and you're looking for someone who loves the Lord and knows the Lord, that was one of the biggest things with Alicia, was that I was looking for somebody who loved the Lord as much as I did. And I actually think she loves him more than I do.
I don't know. We're all a work in progress.
I'm just kidding. But that was really important to me because prayer is important to me, and like our whole foundations should be built on the Lord. And so that was one of the things. So if you are looking for a health coach and you're looking for someone who is a Christian, then I would, recommend Alicia for sure.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Any other advice you would give someone?
Well, I do have a piece of advice that was actually advice that you gave me, and I wrote it down because it's probably one of the biggest things that stuck with me. Was I remember I was talking to you, and I was like, 5 or 6 years ago, I was in the best shape of my life. Felt the best I'd ever felt. I was working out. I was in really good shape, and you stopped me and you said, don't even compare yourself to yourself, because we spend so much time comparing ourselves to other people. And I was comparing myself to myself. And it was just that aha of, okay, so I'm not where I was 6 years ago. And I have to focus on where I am now and go from there instead
Right.
of keeping and looking back because, you know,
Yep. 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 You can't compare yourself to your previous self.
yeah.
Because our bodies change over time, especially us as women. We have hormone shifts, we have all the things. So we really have to, again, I think if we focus on who God's created us to be, we will work through those things that come along, that are going to come along with a body that's aging, or injuries, or whatever it may be. We will work through the struggles of that because we're focusing on the strength that comes from the Lord. And that might mean that it looks different one year than it does the next year based off of even your circumstances. So that's where I see a lot of people get stuck, even myself. So yeah, thanks for sharing that. That's awesome. Great advice. Cool. Anything else you wanted to share about your
I
experience?
don't think so.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate you sharing about your experience. It's been a pleasure working with you. Um, and again, if you are listening back to this and you are in a similar place that Rhonda was in, and you just want to see the light, you really want to understand your purpose in Christ, and you want to get healthier because we take it seriously too. There are steps that will help you, but it really is more about designing a healthy lifestyle that you can take now. And Rhonda's out on her own now, knows how to figure out the things. Obviously, at some point, we all need help in different ways, so there's no shame in that. But my goal is to give you the confidence, the self-efficacy to really be confident in how to build your skills in order to build healthy habits. So both spiritually and physically, and they're both involved if we're a believer. So
And
anyway, so
actually, I do
go
have
ahead.
something else to say
Yeah.
on that note. That's one of the things is that um Alicia gave me tools that now that I am out on my own, it's like those tools, I still have those tools. For example, if you work with Alicia, you will hear her say protein, veggies, and water. If I had a dime for every time you said that, I would be rich. But it's that tool. So it's like when I am going to make food choices, that voice is back there. Does this have protein? Is this a veggie? Are you drinking your water? Did I
Yep.
say fruit or did I say water?
No, you said
Okay.
water. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, protein, veggies, and water. So
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Yep. And there are basics, to that. And there's a discipline to build around that. And I think the other thing is, just to share, like I culture everything around what you need. And so, yes, there are some basics like the water, veggies, and protein that everybody needs to work on. But your veggies and protein might look a little different than someone else's. Like maybe you don't like all the certain kinds of veggies. That's okay. Like what kind of veggies do you like? Work on eating more of those, those kinds of things. So that's really how I culture it. It doesn't have to look the same for everyone. So. Well, cool. Well, I think that's all we have for you ladies today. Thanks for those of you who are watching. Thank you again, Rhonda, for sharing your experience.
Welcome.
If you have any questions about this, again, if you have a similar story or you're just looking to get healthier and you're just stuck, you just don't know where, you're feeling like you're in a bad place, definitely reach out. Put me below in the comments. I'll definitely reach out. We can just have a free chat and talk about it, maybe what your next steps would be. All right. You guys have a great day. Thanks,
All
Rhonda.
right.
I'll see you
Bye.
later.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Mhm.